So I was, hey guys. So I was trying to figure out if I should record a video or sit with it some more. But I think I'm going to just give it a try. Um, I have, I have been sitting with, and sometimes it feels like I've been sitting in, um, a lot of sadness. Instead of sitting with it and asking it what it's teaching me, um, sadness, anger, um, feeling like I don't respect myself enough, feeling like that's why people disrespect me. Like, I'm really feeling all of that. Um, and I just tried to do a 15-minute guided meditation on an inner child. And I have been practicing on and off by myself and with my spiritual coach. And for a minute, I was able to I was able to sit with it sometimes and actually sit with my inner child and have conversations with her. But lately, and today, this morning, just now, when I was trying to do it, well, a few minutes ago, I just felt like I couldn't get to her. Like I seen her face, and it's always this picture of me, and I'm saying, it's all right. I know not to do that, but I'm just chatting with y'all real quick. But I, there's always this picture that pops up of my little girl whenever I'm trying to sit with her, or whenever I actually was able to. And it's a picture of me when I was 4 years old, and it was a family. Was I 4 or 6? I don't know why I heard 4. Maybe I was 4. Maybe 6. Because my little brother was in the picture. Not this particular picture, but my brother and I took them together, and we were little. But I remember being a little girl. I couldn't have been no more than 6. And I'm smiling, and I have braids in my hair, and I'm just like smiling and looking up. I think I go back to that little girl because by then life already started to happen to her. I was 3 years old when my mom had my brother, and I think my first experience with my brother, I was in, we and my mom had a 1-bedroom. We were living in a project, and I was in the room painting. My mom, throughout my entire childhood, even up until now, financially, my mom always got me. She'll get me whatever I want. She pays attention. I think that my mom doesn't know how to, she doesn't have the tools to know how to really, I'm hesitating with it, but I don't think she really, I think she loves me. I don't think she really understands me, but I know that I know that this is something that we agreed to before I got here. I know it's her job to play mom in this lifetime and to love me, but not really, really like, you know, she loves me, but she doesn't show me that that's what what love looks like. I'm trying to explain this as best as I know how, because I honestly, I don't know. I think that my mom having to really truly know what it is to love me, it will mean for her to love herself. And I think that my mom is scared to love herself because I think she's scared to look at herself. And I know that that's something that I'm working through with loving myself, actually looking at myself and loving myself unconditionally. So maybe that's one of the lessons in this lifetime, and that's why we made this agreement with each other so she can teach me. But I just remember one of my first memories of just this feeling of I don't matter was my little brother. I was painting in my room, and my mom, going back to what I said, my mom would buy me whatever. Like, she knew that I was into music. She brought me a radio. She knew that I liked to paint. She brought me a little paint set, a little paint set the little kids have, and you got the little easel, and so I was painting. And my brother, little boys have a lot of energy. My little brother busted in the room, knocked all my paint down, and so I started crying. I was like, "Mom, he knocked my stuff over." And thinking back, I don't know if my mom didn't care, or if my mom just was really just dealing with her own shit, being in a relationship with somebody like my dad who was just all over town. But I just remember my mom not doing anything about it. And I just remember just standing there crying, because he knocked my stuff down and, nothing was done about it. He knocked out all my paint and, that was it. And so, from that time, from me 3 years old and him being little, my mom just, he just did whatever he wanted. My brother did whatever he wanted. And he did a lot of stuff to me. And whenever I would speak up about it to my mother, she wouldn't do anything. She just really would ignore me, or she would literally tell me you better not put your hands on him. It was really fucked up, because I spent my life taking care of somebody. I always joke with my wife, and I say that I felt like a slave, like a wet nurse in my own home. I take care of him. I used to get up. He had to use the bathroom. I would have to take him to the bathroom. Mind you, we're only 3 years apart. We both got to get our asses up and go to school. But I used to have to wake up and take my little brother to the bathroom. I used to show him how to hold his stuff and pee. My mom would just work and take care of us, but she was checked out. Wait 1 second. My dad was driving all around town, had all these different women, just doing whatever he wanted to do. My parents, they just was in their own worlds, and I had to take care of my sibling, who was really fucking horrible to me. I compare it to being a wet nurse, because I've watched movies where these slaves was taking care of these children, and their children, I know them kids was fucking horrible, because why I gotta respect you? My mama and daddy already showed me that I do not have to respect you. You are nothing to no one but a servant, so do what I ask you to do. And that's literally how I grew up. And when I was doing this meditation, I was trying to get to my little girl, and I kept hearing something in my head saying, "Go get her, go get her." But I felt this deep sense of sadness, sad that I'm all of my life, I felt like that little girl that had to take care of everybody and protect everybody, but nobody protected her. And I lead with that little girl almost every single day. I cannot tell you how many times I allowed somebody to disrespect me, even though I knew I had it in me to check it, because I literally would protect everybody around me. I literally would check when people would do shit to the people around me, but I didn't have it in myself. Every chance that I had to speak up for myself, that shit was shut down. It was always my father's sister, my aunt. It was she couldn't wait to chastise me. She was waiting for an opportunity to just say something to me. I will never forget, because my aunt was my supervisor, and then I became her supervisor. So I will never forget, we worked at a summer camp. That was my first job. I couldn't wait. When I turned 14, boom, teacher's assistant working at summer camp. And I never forget, we were putting on a play. Mind you, I wrote the play. I so artistic. I knew how. I know how to do so many things. And I remember, they were looking for more people to participate in the end of the summer show celebration. And so my aunt was like, "Do anybody else want to do it?" So me and my cousin both raised our hands. And I will never forget, my aunt was like, "No, not you, her," and pointed to my cousin. Mind you, well, when we say mind you, it's so funny when we be expecting people to already know the backstory of things, but so let me say this. My aunt was like obsessed with my little cousin. Like I felt like she wanted my cousin to be her daughter and not want the kids that she had to be her kids. So, and my little cousin was little. She's older than me, but she's very tiny, 4'11". And I could be biased, but I just always feel like when people are smaller in stature, like they are looked at as like adorable. You know, they could be spicy, feisty, all of that. And it's so cute, right? I've always been like 5'8" I've been 5'8" since like the third fucking grade, right? I never was treated like that. I never was treated cute, cuddly, adorable, spicy. Like I was looked at as I was being loud. I was looked at as I was being grown. I had boobs since I was like freaking 7. So like nobody never treated me like I was cute, cuddly, and adorable, right? So my father's sister, it's some shit that went on with my father and my aunt. And I got the brunt of it. Mind you, my dad has more children. They were not treated like that. Maybe my younger brother, and she did a little bit of shit to my brother, my brother that I was just telling y'all about that I had to take care of. She was more rude to his wife, but like she didn't really do too much to them. But me personally, like I got that shit the worst. And I will never forget them asking, does anybody else want to participate? I dance, I sing, I write. I can do all of these different things. And like, I was ready. Like, I had to be like 15 years old at the time. And so my aunt was like, do anybody else want to do it? Me and my cousin raised my hand. My aunt straight told me no and let my cousin do it. I'm 15. Like, so I'm still being abused at 15 years old. And mind you, she was doing shit to me before then. Like, so I'm saying all of this to say, and I know it probably was all over the place. If you stayed with me for these 11 minutes and 59 seconds, thank you. But I'm saying all this to say that my inner child shows up so much because in my inner child, and I feel small in so many places because the caregivers and adults around me was like, you don't matter. You don't matter. Do what I asked you to do and you don't matter. How dare you speak up for yourself? I don't care how fucking smart you are. Shut up. And some of my cousins, I'm not going to call them dumb. My brother, I'm not going to call him dumb, but just regular schmegler conversation. I'm over here talking about some deep shit. I always been different from everybody else, and I got treated like horribly. And going on this spiritual journey, I understand that I made these agreements, you know, with these people to play these roles in my family, to play this title as my brother, to play this title as my mother, my father, play this title as my aunt. And I'm starting to understand that maybe the lesson for me is that we're gonna make you feel small because you're really that fucking big. You really are a big deal. But you agreed, we agreed for us to treat you like this so you can really see yourself, right? So you can really respect yourself. I'm still working on that. But my inner child she shows up every day and she is like, she's trying to get my attention, right? To say like, we, listen, we matter. We matter. I follow this young lady that a girlfriend of mine who I call my cousin, my spiritual girly. She sent it to the group chat and then I started to follow up. I want to say, and I apologize if I'm saying wrong, spiritual cowboy girl, I think, something like that. No disrespect, sister. 1411 as I was saying that. But she shares a lot about how she grew up and how she was very, 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 very gifted. And the grown-ups around her, from the time she was a kid, like ever since she was a kid, treated her like horribly. They waited for every opportunity to try to humble her and treat her like shit, basically. And hearing her story, that's what kind of like motivated me to get back in here and do this, because I have been trying to tell my story for so long. I'm 38 years old. I want to say it was like 2011, 2012 where I really started going on to social media platforms. I think it was more specifically Facebook first, and try to tell my story. And now here I am at 38, and it's 2024, and I've come a long way, but I know that I have a lot of work to do. But I know that this time, that with with 8 years of therapy and the spiritual coaching that I have, which is, it's not forcing me to see myself, because when you are working with coaches and healers, how do I explain this the best way I know how? Okay, so they can teach you all they want. They can give you the tools, but you have to be willing, right, to make that change by matching that frequency that they're putting out. They're giving healing energy. If they're calling you to look at yourself, you have to be willing to match that energy. Like, you know what? I know this gonna fucking suck, but let's do it. You have to be willing. Like, yeah, they're healers, they're teachers, but again, they can give you the tools, but you have to be willing to receive it and accept it and do the work. I am grateful that I have a therapist who is like genuine. She keeps it real. She tell me about myself. She really pushes me to see myself, right? She takes her time with me. I used to be like, oh, my mother did it. I used to put my mom on this pedestal. No, don't get me wrong, I love my mama to death. But I had to really, you gotta see. You gotta see. You really gotta see, baby girl. And my therapist walked me through it, and I seen it, and I was like, holy shit. Like, I will always say my dad, my dad, my dad, my dad, because my dad was flat out in your face. He didn't give a fuck. He just gonna do it. I'm telling y'all, I can't remember. I can't remember, but I can't remember. What I was trying to say is I can't recall how many times my dad would drive past us with a girl in his car, And right now, my dad is going through some heavy shit. My dad had a stroke, right? 2-3 years ago. And my dad is now trying to figure out how to get his life back together. But for a very long time, my dad was this man up top, up here. Everybody knew my dad. But everybody knew my dad he was mostly known for being a misogynist. He was mostly known for riding around with these nice cars, having a good job. You know, a lot of people in the community respect him because they was like, you know what? But he wasn't out here selling drugs and killing people and doing all of that shit. You know, so, okay, cool, right? But my dad didn't respect women. My dad dragged so many different women in and out of his bedroom. And me as a little girl, I would watch that. I would see it. I would experience. I would be sitting on the couch eating my cereal. And I used to always mix cornflakes from Aldi. I used to mix the Frosted Flakes and the cornflakes together in a big ass bowl. And I would always have 1818 as I'm saying this to y'all. I would always have a big ass bowl of cereal. And I would just be sitting there and I would watch all these women come out. All these different type of women come out. All these. My dad is 6'6", beautiful, handsome man. Got the same face. You see my face is very long, very long. My dad, very handsome man. My dad never wanted to settle down. My dad doesn't like himself. My dad does not like himself. My point is, my dad was a dad to my cousins. Some of them, their dads wasn't in the picture. And, you know, my dad was, you know, their favorite uncle, you know. He would always let me have these sleepovers, and, you know, I was always like, you know, like, because we couldn't go outside. So he'd be like, you could do it. Like, it was like I could do whatever I want, but I could not go outside. So I had all the parties I wanted. And I used to like want the kids to come over, like, cause I want them to like me, like, come over. But these kids, these same kids that call me a nerd and cracked on the way that I dress, like, but y'all could still come over, like, come over. Not all of them did that to me, but some of them that would come to my parties did. And my dad would just let me have all of these parties. He had big arcade games and pool tables, and, you know, it was such a big deal to come to Mr. Nash house. It was such a big deal to come there, and he was really flashy. And I realized and I recognized that I'm growing up. My grandma had 10 kids. My grandma was poor. Like, she did her best. Multiple baby daddies, and my cousins, or not cousins, well, cousins' parents, I should say, my aunts, uncles, my dad, they had to survive the best they knew how. My grandmama had to survive the best she knew how. And every last one of them to this day, because of how they grew up, they made it their business to make sure that the kids didn't have to go through that and experience that. But my dad, more specifically, my dad did not protect me. My dad did not show me how a man is supposed to treat a woman. What my dad showed me was just, this is what it looks like when you don't respect yourself or love yourself or feel that you're enough. You become this black hole, and you find love, or what you think is loving yourself, in flashy things, sleeping with a lot of people, drinking. Literally, that was me in my 20s. Sleeping around. I used to think that when you got with somebody, you're supposed to be with them forever. And so my first boyfriend at 13, okay, I'll say it. I lost my virginity at 13 years old, and I thought that we were going to be together forever. I didn't know how the game worked. Mind you, I think I kind of did, but I was just, because my dad just dragged different women all over the top of us, like I just shared. But I think that just in my mind, I thought that, we were going to be together forever. And it turns out that that's not how that worked out. And so then I got into another relationship, and we were together for 4 years, and I thought that it was all throughout my high school years, and I thought we was going to be together forever. But this nigga would not stop cheating on me, and he was abusive to me. They were all like, my point is that they were all like my dad. I got to college. I got away from the dude that used to abuse me, and same shit. A version of my dad in his own way. And then after him, it was like 4 years before I dated again. And I just was out here in the streets trying to figure it out. But I just, I didn't know. I didn't know. Like, I spent most of my life in the house. Like, my parents didn't really let me go outside like that. And my dad really didn't let me go outside like that. They bought me whatever I wanted. I could have all the parties I wanted, but my ass was not allowed to go outside. I could have all the sleepovers I wanted, but I was not allowed to go outside. And I think that I'm starting to realize that I lack a lot of social skills and interacting with people, and had to learn that you just can't be saying shit out of your mouth to people. I had to learn that at these ages in my 30s, because I spent a lot of time in the house and a lot of times under my parents. But I skipped something. I want to circle back. So my dad, I just gave y'all this, how my dad is. So growing up with a dad like that, what you see is what you get. My mom, see, I used to think that, my mom is, my mom's the best. My mom's everything. She buys me whatever I want. My mom also let my brother do whatever he wanted to me, and I was not allowed. This scarf is killing me. My mom let my brother do whatever he wanted to me, and I wasn't allowed to do anything back. Like, but I would do stuff back every chance I got. I would fight my brother. I would hardcore, straight up fight, fist fight, hard down, fight my brother. I was able to whoop his ass until he was about 14, because by then he shot up to like 6'6". But we used to get right, because ain't no way I'm going to keep letting you disrespect me. And my mom should just be like, don't hit him, don't hit him. So that was just teaching me that people could basically do whatever they want. And my little brother was off the fucking chain. My brother did not respect women because my dad, as I explained to you, he didn't respect women. So you're dealing with this little black boy who lives in the house with his mother and his sister. They're taking care of him. He's going through all this shit in life, and like nobody's really walking him through it, right? Two women trying to raise him, and they're trying to walk him through it. And that's, I was just thinking as I was telling y'all this, because I'm married to a woman. I'm a lesbian, and it's me, my wife, and my son, and we're working through trying to parent a little black boy, and his father he does whatever he wants. And that's literally how it was with my brother. Like, We were doing our best. And mind you, I'm only 3 years older than my brother. So I'm trying to help my mom raise this little boy. And I was doing my best. I protect my brother. No matter how shitty my brother was to me, I protected him. I protected him. Yeah. I probably was all over the place, but it's okay. My caption says, "Babe is healing." And that's what I'm doing. I'm just healing. And I am talking through my process. Somebody will see this and, they'll get to hear my story. Somebody will see this and maybe they'll be able to identify with some of the things that I went through. I really couldn't see my little girl today. I tried so hard to see her. I think I got away from her just a little bit these last few days because I haven't been sitting with her. I've been being really hard on myself. I've heard that a lot. Like, you're really hard on yourself. And I know that's because, being the oldest, I had to take care of everybody. And I remember every time I made a mistake, I got yelled at. I remember a lot of yelling growing up. My parents yelled a lot. And they didn't have the tools to say, hey, I know it was a mistake, and walk me through it. I'll never forget one day my mom, right? I used to always have to be responsible for washing the meats and doing the dishes and just, help my mom out around the house. And I remember one day she told me to she told me to get the ground beef together. And y'all, because I always had to wash the meat, and this was my first time handling ground beef, I watched the ground beef. So my mom came in the kitchen. She was like, "Tasha." And for anybody that had parents that yelled or had a relative, like somebody that yelled all the time, the way my mom yelled at me, I felt that shit in my bones. Oof. She yelled at me for washing the ground beef, but I didn't know. And when I said I didn't know, it did not stop her from yelling. And I cannot tell y'all how many of you have experienced this, when your family talks about shit, when you made a mistake and they'll keep bringing it up over and over, not realizing, nigga, you just bringing up the very fucking shit that traumatized them to begin with. This, for example, my mom used to always bring up, and they used to always laugh, remember that time when you washed the ground beef? And I'm like, do y'all remember that fucking time that my mom screamed, and I felt it in my bones, and I hate yelling to this day? She yelled at me. I didn't know. She yelled at me for that. And I know that is one of the many, many reasons why, I'm so hard on myself, because whenever I make a mistake, I just hear yelling, yeah. Yeah. Again, I am learning that we have this agreement with each other. We have this agreement with each other so that I can really fucking see how dope and amazing that I am. But I'm still feeling my motherfucking feels. I'm still going through the motions, okay? I'm still, shout out to my coach and my therapist, but I'm still going through the motions of being the observer, right? And learning that, I picked this body, I picked this family. Learning to kind of detach myself from the emotions, but sit with them. What are you trying to tell me? Right? I feel disconnected from my body, and that's just because of the things that I experienced in life. But I want to learn how to, well, I will learn how to just observe what I'm feeling, observe what this avatar is feeling, if that made sense. But yeah, that's what my thoughts was early this morning. I was trying so hard to sit with my little girl, and I'm just like, I'm so sad. Like, I'm just thinking about all this shit that I've been through, and I'm like, I never got to be a little kid. Like, I never, yeah, I was always being a grown up, and I never was treated like a grown up, and I never looked like a grown up. I remember walking with my mom, and I used to try to hold her hand, and she used to swat my hand away like, no, don't hold my hand because people gonna think we gay. I didn't know what the fuck that was. I'm like, huh? What you mean? Like, I'm 7. And by then, was I 5'8" yet? Maybe like 5. Was I tall yet? I don't even know if I was that tall yet. So you know what? Maybe I was like 9 or 10 when she said that to me. Because I remember being like tall. Like, I was already, by then I was like taller than my mom. My mom was only like 5'4". But I just remember her like, oh, the people want to think we gay. Well, it's, no disrespect to my mama. Shouldn't say the B word. But girl, surprise. Your wife. Not your wife. I'm sorry. Your daughter has a wife. Like... But it had nothing to like do. I don't even know if I put that together right, but you know, like, she's my mom. Like, I just was a kid, you know, like. Anyway, I'm dragging this out. I just wanted to share like what was going on, and again, I want to be more consistent with my YouTube. And I want to be more real and authentic. I feel like I've made videos like this so many times, and I would delete them because I'm like, oh my God, they're all over the place. There's no fancy production. People are going to be like, what the hell? And, excuse me. And, you know, it's a whole lot of judgment. But I follow a lot of people. Like I said, I follow Laura. I can't even, blah. I follow this young lady, Spiritual Cowboy Girl, I believe. And, you know, she shares a lot about this stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. I don't recall her videos ever being this long, but she has shared videos where I'm like, all right, I can do this. I've been trying to tell my story for so many years now. I can do this. Yeah. So if anybody is going through their healing journey, we together. I see you. It's going to work out. Just keep doing the work. I'm doing the work. I'm tired as hell right now from doing the work and still having to show up to work. And learning lessons while I'm at that place, like while I'm in the position I'm in at that job, because we talked about that, so I won't get into that no more. It was 7-7. But yeah, now 7-11. All right, y'all. Peace. And if you stayed this long, thank you for listening. If you felt called to, if this resonated with you, you're interested in learning more and getting to see all the creative things that was going on inside this little girl's head who was always on punishment and in her room, but it was like a whole world that I created. If you're interested in that, like, hit the like button. No, wait, subscribe and like this video if you feel called to do so, and share, you know, if that's what you would like to do. I appreciate you guys for listening. Thank you.